Hello, human beings of YouTube. This is my first video, potentially of a line of blogs, video blogs, vlogs, as they say, on my YouTube channel. I'm Tristan Stewart, also not known as Tristan, and equally not known as Tristan the Rapist. If you don't like that name, it's okay. I don't like it either. I think it's pretty fucking horrible. But it is my name nonetheless. Well, why didn't you change it? I don't really think it's that important. Okay? So that's why. So yeah, this video, or what this potential blog series is about, is my journey. That journey will take a little bit of explaining, which I will start by saying is that recently I've figured out that I am a visionary person. I kind of guess I've always known, I've thought like this, but I've kind of recently put the label on it of visionary. Now, what that means to me is, at any one moment, I will, at specific occasions throughout my life, I have completely just thrown away everything that is realistic, and I'm just completely inside my head. And what I do is I picture a reality that is, while seemingly impossible, also incredibly euphoric and ideal. And to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about, I'll give you many examples of when this has happened in my of when I've done this in my life. The first one being in 8th grade. In 8th grade, I thought I was a good guitar player. Okay, I sucked, and I heard the song by a shred guitar player named Paul Gilbert, called "The Curse of Castle Dragon," and it was really fast, which is the shit I used to be really into. And when I heard it back then, I was like, holy crap, imagine me playing this in front of a crowd. So many people will like me if I do this. And so, in the 8th grade, when I heard that song, I made the decision in my mind that you will play this song note for note in front of a crowd sometime in the future. I didn't assign a time limit, I just said I would do it. And so I put it in the back of my mind and kept working and working until one day, 2 years later, on my 16th birthday at a summer coffee house at my high school, I played it, and I tricked everyone there into thinking I was some type of virtuoso guitar player. Second example, about 3 months later, I started my junior year of high school in this class that I was pretty nervous to take. It was called American Thought. And this is not your typical AP English class. It isn't an AP English class. It's a difficult English class, but you don't take tests. You do a shit ton of reading, with like a ton of good books. You do a lot of talking about it. I didn't talk at all. I'm very introverted. I just sat there and watched the conversations the whole time. But I read everything, and not many other kids in that class could say the same. And I was always thinking, and how that class worked is that at the end of each unit you did what was called an exhibition, which is basically anything you wanted it to be. Whatever you wanted to do with the content, just turn it into something creative. Synthesize everything together and say something new in the same way the author of whatever you wrote did way back in whenever this was written, The Scarlet Letter. This is one of the books we read. And at the end of the year, there's a final exhibition which takes everything you learned and you just make this huge amalgamation of everything from the year. And the first day of that, or the first week, when my teacher was explaining to the class what these exhibitions were, I looked around at my classmates and I said to myself, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it, or if I'm even capable of doing it, but I am going to create the most incredible exhibition that anyone in this classroom could ever fathom, and I will change the way people look at the world with it. Now, I don't know if I accomplished that, but the end result was something I was satisfied with, which, in order for me to be satisfied with some of my own work, that almost never happens. So, saying that, it turned out pretty good. And so, third example, that summer, I was laying in bed, and I was looking out at the starlit sky at night, and this word popped into my head, and it just stuck on my tongue, and that word was tortoise. And it was just, I was saying it over, tortoise, that seems like a really cool name for something. And so, laying in bed that night, I said to myself, one day, I will have a full concept album, with a storyline and everything, called Tortoise. And I had no idea what the hell that would turn out to be. I didn't know how I was going to put concepts behind that to just a name. That's all it started out as. And if you look on my channel, you can listen to the full-length album right now called Tortoise. Exactly a year later, actually, the summer after my senior year, it was a thing. This abstract idea, there's just one word in my head, tortoise, turned into this whole thing that occupied a year of my life, or a little less than a year of my life. Probably about 6 to 8 months in total. I spent a lot of my time on that. And it's a thing now. And so I'm almost done with my first semester in college. I go to music school, and I ask myself, I don't ask myself, I do the same thing, where I sit back and envision a world in which I'm happy. And what I see now is me on a stage playing guitar while rapping my original music, touring wherever, making enough money to keep on doing that. And I literally think that's impossible after being at music school for about, like 2 or 3 months. And so that's the journey that this blog post is going to start off. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I just know 2 things. Or I know, out of the 2 things I know, one of them will happen, for sure. I will accomplish this goal that I've just told you, or I will die. It's a matter of which one comes first. And if you choose to listen, my goal is to take you on that journey. And if I end up inspiring you along the way to kind of walk away from this modern day American system of, hey, your parents fucked to have you to go to kindergarten, to go to elementary school, to go to middle school, to go to high school, to get to a college, and then get a job to pay for the college, and then find a mate to fuck, and repeat the process. If I can pull you away from that and get you to follow what's in here, well, then that's more than I could ever dream. I'm not saying that whole going through school, getting a job, having a husband or a wife, and 3 kids and a dog and a white fence, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Just for you, go ahead, do it. It's just that I know so many more people would rather have something else. And I'm here to prove that you can follow what's in here. You might be fucking starving for a while, or for more than a while, but hey, is it worth it? Stay tuned to find out. Peace, everybody.